Hello, well, welcome everybody to the Influencers Journey Show. My name is Suzan Hart, and I am so excited you're here. So, before we jump deep into this conversation, I want to take a moment, one, to kind of give you a little bit of context before I introduce my beautiful guest. So, I gotta say, I met this woman on a phone call and we just chopped it up. You know, when you have one of those conversations that you're like, I don't know her, but I feel like I do. And you just have one of these beautiful conversations. And what struck me about her was the level of faith she was walking in. And I'm talking faith when you step out to do something that you feel called to do, but you have no clue what it is or how you're going to do it. And I just thought, what a beautiful conversation to have for those of you who are stepping into leadership, seasoned leaders, those moments where you know you're called to do something, but you don't know the how. You're not even sure of the why sometimes, but you feel like you're being pulled. What makes some people step out and what makes some people shy away, talk themselves out of it, and stay exactly where they are? So let me share a little bit about this beautiful soul. First of all, she is a certified life coach. She is an author. She is a yoga instructor, which I was just learning as I read her bio. She is also 18 years in child protection. So that's something we both have in common. I like to say that means we are adrenaline junkies and like things to move quickly. And she's the founder of the Aspire series. And I'm not going to get into that because I'm going to give her an opportunity to share a little bit about that. So this woman hails from Australia, Bali, England. I think she's just a world citizen and just, exploring our beautiful planet. Please help me welcome Michelle Gardner.
Thanks, Susan.
How
Would
are you?
I'm really well. I'm really well, and I'm so excited for this conversation and yeah, all the different spaces that we're going to go into.
Oh yeah, and I think timing is everything, right? We set up this interview for a while ago, and then life happens, and I think this is a perfect moment.
I agree, definitely.
So I want to set a backdrop and a context for everyone so that we really situate them in the conversation where we met. And so I was introduced to you by a mutual friend, Agnes, and Agnes called me and said, there's someone that you must meet. And Agnes has a habit of doing that to me. And she's always spot on. And
Mm.
so she said, I'm going to give you, and you got to have a phone call, and you have to meet this woman. And we jumped on the phone, and it was just one of those conversations. Talk about where you were and what you were up to that spirited that phone call.
As in the Aspire series.
Yes. And
Yeah.
the summit and all that beautiful stuff.
Yeah. So essentially, I founded the Aspire series. What I thought it would be, and who I would be within it, and what has actually become are two very different things. As I'm sure what it is becoming is another thing entirely as well. So originally, it started alongside my work. And it started from the seed of, as a female in this world, in her mid-30s. Who do you look up to? What do you do when you've outgrown all your female role models? Where do you next step? And I think at that point you have a choice. You either find another female role model or you realize that you are designed to become the female role model.
I love
So
that.
often a combination of those two things. And originally I thought it would be yoga classes and women's circles. And what I found when I began was that I was very quickly going to outgrow women's circles because I just felt that there was so much more that I could draw out of women than what a women's circle is designed for. And secondly, I actually didn't really enjoy instructing people how to move their bodies. That wasn't my thing.
Get it.
So yeah, yeah. So, and it's like a big part of my work background has been leadership story, helping young people to speak publicly and to advocate for change in the
Mhm.
social sector. And those are the things I was actually most passionate about. And by a random turn of events, I packed up life in Australia at the start of January, at the end of January 2020. And I thought I was going traveling for 6 months.
Mhm.
And what happened was that I landed in Bali as my first stop, and the pandemic began, and
Wow.
I had a choice to return to Australia and to basically drop back into my old world. For those of us who know anything about the hero's journey and the rites of passage, we know that once we take the first step, we actually cannot step back because the universe will beat us around the head with a drum until we get back on the path to the new world. Or we be super, super brave and sit. Sometimes I think it's a stepping into the unknown. Sometimes it's a sitting in the unknown. Sometimes it's an active thing, and sometimes it's more passive. So
Absolutely.
yes, so as far as the pandemic goes, it was more passive. So I don't think I've ever been so still in my life. I think a lot of us can resonate with that. Um, but it ended up being the middle of 2021 when, I've been doing some work for a charity still in Australia, still helping share story and advocate for change. And that had dried up by the middle of 2021. And Melbourne, where I'm from, had the worst lockdowns in the world. And the idea of still dropping back into my old world, I was like, I can't, I just can't. But then also being in this space where the new thing had not presented itself, was a very brave spot to be sitting in. And that ended up being where Aspire was rebirthed. So, I mean, it was literally a seed, the idea of 55 faces at that point. And literally, I I I covered a table with pieces of paper, and I said to the universe, I said, "You've got 3 weeks. I'm giving you a deadline. You've got 3 weeks. Every idea, concept, conversation that comes through, I'm going to write it down and see what's there." And basically, that turned into 55 faces, which was only meant to be a thing on social media. It was meant to give me something to show up for every day and something to put out into the world. And that's all I thought it was going to be. I thought surely within 55 days, I will figure out something. And what came through that was that I had women come to me and say, we'd love to be a part of this. Some of them I didn't even know. They just jumped in my inbox, and I still don't know how they found me. And and some of them have become some of my biggest supporters. And I had women say, "Why don't you make a book?" And I said, "Okay, I'll make a book." But at the same time, I felt that it was really important that I did something to support the people on the land where I was. So in Bali, so I ended up creating 2 books.
Oh,
And then I
wow.
started, yeah, and then each featuring 55 women. And then that formed a movement and a circle of women. And then I started planning a summit because I was like, these women have to come together. And the world was still shut down. And I was planning a summit for people to fly into Bali. It was a bit mad, but I think there's something about that place that makes you believe in the unbelievable
Okay.
and and in what would otherwise seem impossible. So I was joking the other day. I was like, we're planning for Africa, and I was listening to the Lion King soundtrack, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's like I've created this Disney reality.
That travels. That travels.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like that's what it feels like sometimes. And it literally just went from there. And it's hugely been a matter of following nuggets and following crumbs. It's almost like Hansel and Gretel trying to get back to the house. It's and hugely following my intuition. But I know the topic of this is about faith, and this you just wanted a snippet of the story to start with. So I'll leave it there, and then more
I
threads will come
love
in.
it. I love it. So if
Yeah.
you're joining us, I love that. Our topic today is walking by faith, hidden
Mm.
power behind visionary leadership. And so we're going to talk about what faith means when you are birthing something brand new.
Mm.
Um, so if you're just popping on, I am sitting down with Michelle Gardner, and she's the founder of the Aspire series and a few and a host of other things that she has cooking. So let's talk a little bit about, when you get an idea and
Mm.
um and so here you are, you've got women emailing you, you're in a new land, things are drying up, you're not sure what to do. What do you think about those types of moments that invites in the new?
What do I think about those moments that invites in the new? Hmm. You know, I think it's almost like I think every single one of us is a conduit.
Hmm.
We're a conduit for ideas, we're a conduit for all kinds of magic. And at the end of the day, it's really about how open or closed off we are to that because the seeds are everywhere. The ideas are everywhere. The nuggets are everywhere. And the thing is that it takes faith, but it takes conviction, it takes belief, it takes trust to follow that. And to know that when you put something out into the world that might seem absolutely crazy and impossible, um, that the pieces of that puzzle are there somewhere. And it's almost like our human role is to decipher and put those pieces together.
Yes.
Yeah. Like if we try to control the pieces or control all of the elements to it, then it just doesn't happen. It doesn't unfold. It's like I should backtrack a tiny bit and say that Aspire is now a global platform for women leading change and impact. And we have women connected from I think 51 countries.
Yeah.
Um, and which is crazy. And we've had about 300 women involved with 55 since its inception. And we're now having our third summit. And we're off to Africa to do an impact trip in Africa very, very soon. And yeah, through that, I think there's a time and a place to be in the human,
Hmm.
and there's a time and a place to let go of that and to let something else take over
I love
and
it.
to become a complete conduit to that thing. Because our human self can only work out so many pieces of the puzzle. Like, seriously, Christmas Day sales, I was fully in my human.
Mhm.
I was not spirit driven. I was like, okay, I need a watch, I need a this, I need a that, like fully in that space. And you have to be like, you have to surface up from that other reality.
Absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
something else, and it can be really intense. And there's so much moving when you're in that fully spirit driven, conduity kind of space. And it's like faith and fear are two opposite sides of the same coin. Right? So the fear comes from the human, but the faith knows that this is already worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the fact that you said that one is it has a lot to do with the state you're in, because I
Mm.
know that you can oftentimes, when people receive that juicy, brilliant idea, what they tend to do is they go check it out with people who have nothing to do with the gift, and the humans in that moment talk you out of it, right?
Usually,
Because they rationalize, and I always say it's because they can't see what you see, and the gift wasn't for them anyway, so they can't put the pieces together. And so
yes.
here you are, this idea, this gifting drops into you, and you remain open enough to say, hmm, what do I
Mm,
do with this? So I love that. I think the second thing that you said that I really want to highlight for everyone that's listening is, I truly believe that until you say yes, no how ever shows up.
yes.
And oftentimes people don't want to say yes until how shows up, and they've got it kind of backwards.
Mm. And there are many layers to the yes.
Oh, talk about that.
So you can say yes, and it's like yes on a surface level, but then you're constantly making another level of commitment to that same thing because you can say yes, and then it starts getting hard, and you're like, oh no, I'm not saying yes anymore to this, or I'm backing away and reconsidering. But then at some point, you have a choice. Do I return with a deeper, more convicted yes?
Yeah,
Whatever that thing is, I'm breaking through it or I'm shifting through it or, helping it to that obstacle to dissolve itself, or making a deeper commitment to bring those pieces together in some way.
yeah.
Am I not?
As you're saying that, one of the things on my journey, I truly believe that we're all like magnificently brilliant, that it's kind of scary. Like we can't even envision. And
Mm,
I think if we allow ourselves to tap into our brilliance, we are here to do big things.
huge things.
Yeah, like beyond our own imagination. I think, as you're saying, that it gets revealed in pieces that we can handle. Because if the whole thing got revealed, we'd be like, "What? No." However, you get a bit and you go, "Oh yeah." And then you sit there for a while, you grow, you expand, and then you get a bit more and you're like, "What? Okay." And I think that you're absolutely right. There's a point where you got to go, okay, do I trust all that's in me,
Mm,
that I can become this, or do I retreat? And I think it is that moment that tips it.
I agree.
Now, let me ask you, and I loved when you talked about faith and fear. It's like the opposite side of the same coin. And I have come to know that when I'm up to things worthy of my life, like big, I
Mm,
dance between, it's not like I lose faith, but fear's always just right there. And
yeah.
and and I think that I've come to believe that if I don't experience fear like every few days in some way, shape, or
Mm,
form, it's because I'm living small.
yes.
So when I'm running around at Christmas, there's no fear. And I'm totally, as you said, I'm totally there's no challenge, there's no extra, there's no this, no fear. But the minute I drop into what I believe I'm here for, the possibility, it's almost like it's just below the surface. And I think you got to learn to surf it, for lack of a
Yeah.
better.
Yes. Yes. It's like they say, like, if you wait for there to be no fear, you'll never move. You'll never ever move because it is there for a purpose. It's there because you're stepping into uncharted territory. And for the visionaries in this world, we're stepping into spaces that most people would not even go near. The number of people who say to me, there is no way that I would walk the path that you're walking. And I totally get it because there's no certainty, there's no structure built around it. I had I was speaking to a woman on a few days ago, and she's amazing at what she does. And she was just like, oh, I don't know the level of risk that you're taking on. And I'm like, and then I was speaking to a mentor of mine last night, and she was like, Michelle, everything that you've done from the outset, it's just crazy. It's thoroughly crazy. Like there's no consideration of risk. But then it's interesting once you get to a certain point of being established, where I think that you start to care more about risk because there's more to lose than there is on day one, where you
Yes.
just who cares? I'm just a trailblazer just starting from scratch. And then at some point it's like, whoa, I've actually built an entity now. Like there's all these moving pieces to now contemplate in establishing this piece of the like
Yeah.
next
Uh-huh.
evolution.
And
So I
it,
think
and
that
and I think that, when we talk about risk, what's risk for you may not be risk for me, and what's risk for me may not be risk for you. And I am highlighting that because sometimes we go chasing someone else's gift or blessing, and it'll seem huge and risky and impossible because it's actually not for us, right? And so I think what you're also really highlighting is the listening, that is required. And so I'm going to ask you, when something drops into you,
Mhm.
how do you know it is for you? Because, things drop in all the time, and there's some stuff that's just like distractions, and then there's some stuff that you're like, oh yeah, that's for me.
Mm, such a good question. And sometimes you don't know until you play with it a little bit as well.
Yeah. Say more.
Right.
Say more.
Yeah. How do I know that it's me? I mean, my biggest thing is, does it fit under the Aspire umbrella? Like,
Okay.
does it fit with my lens of what I want to create in the world? Does it like this thing? It's an entity, and I'm glad that I called it Aspire. It was at a time when everyone who was stepping out in the coaching kind of space was working under their own name, and they dropped other names. And I was like, no, I'm going to call it something separate because I always wanted it to feel like it was
Yes.
itself, and I'm me. And I often talk about that in the scheme of a hot air balloon. You know, my job is to stoke the fire and to cut the
Yeah.
cords tying it to the ground. I'm not the balloon. If I try to be the balloon, I can't, like, it's going to be blown around by the wind, by all these forces and all these things that I don't have control over. So I
Mhm.
can't be it. But I mean, what fits inside it? What feels good? What feels usually crazily expansive and almost a little bit mad.
Mhm.
Um, but there's a huge part of the heart and soul in Aspire. And every time I run something live, like it doesn't, there's something in the essence of it that I don't control that feels like that Circle of Life song on the on the soundtrack.
We're back to Disney.
Like, I don't know, that's the flavor of this week. But like there's this I don't know, this uplifting essence to it that
Yes,
right?
I
It's
so
hard,
get
it's
that.
soul, there's this uplifting essence, and there's almost like a fun playfulness about it as well. So it's
Yeah.
like, does that thing bring out all of that? Or can I bring that into it? Um,
I
and
I just
mm,
for me I describe it it's almost like a pull. Like
yeah.
I know that I can when I know it's for me because even when I'm afraid,
Mm,
I'm pulled.
yeah.
It bothers me in my sleep.
Mm,
It distracts me in my like it's just there and I am being pulled. I also know that when something's not for me, but I think it is, I will look for outside. Like, do you think I should do this? Do you think I
mm,
should do this? And I'm trying to convince myself because it looks great and it's shiny and it's amazing, but I'm trying to convince myself and other people that it's for me. That's my clue. Whereas if something is for me, my question to people are is very different. I'm
mm,
going to ask how questions. I'm going to ask brainstorming questions, but I'm not going to ask that permission question because deep down, I already know. And I may have said yes, but me, my inner side had already I may have said no, but inside it's already said yes. And I'm disrupted till I'm in alignment.
yes. I think there are two key things that came to me when you were talking about that. The first one was usually the ideas come as a result of something deeper that I've been questioning already. So
Yes.
it usually comes as a response to that.
Yes.
So I would be like, okay, where is the gap? Like, okay, there's a gap here, or there's something that I'm struggling with, or something that I haven't attended to. And I'm like, how do I navigate this? It's already something that's playing around in my subconscious. So when the thing comes, I usually go, oh, there's that piece, and it slots in, or it doesn't. It
Hmm.
might take a little bit to get my head around it and go, does this slot in how? Or doesn't it? And if it does, then it will find its place, even if it feels big and expansive and over the top. But I think something that you said that's really beautiful is the piece around permission. And often I don't actually ask anyone. I'll just decide for myself.
Well, see,
And I have
that's when
other
I know.
people
That's when
after.
I know. That's when I know because I actually don't want anybody to disrupt my space in
Mm.
it. So I don't ask anything until I'm like in it. And people are like,
Yes,
"What are you doing?" Well,
this is
this
it. This is what's happening.
is
And they'll be like, what? Where did that come from? And I was like, well, you don't
ah,
know until I'm solid in it. I think that's a really sweet point as well. the piece in faith in terms of I think there's a time and a place for testing ideas of people, and there's a time and a place for just sitting with something on your own and making your own decision around it and
Absolutely.
then sharing it with the world. I think there's a sweet
Absolutely.
spot in knowing a wisdom
When,
in knowing.
when, when, and I think it is, I think the piece that you're really speaking to, and it's going to actually lead to where my next question is that there is a listening
Mm,
that that is in tune to that quiet place in you. And I know that that requires stillness for
mm,
me to really connect and listen. And it's that still intuitive. I say it's where my higher power, whoever that is for everyone that's listening, speaks to me, right?
mm.
And I gotta go in and I gotta connect, and that takes time. And then I get clarity, I get, certainty, I get all these things that I can't get with the noise of everybody else.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely, absolutely. And the thing is, like when you're interacting with other people, generally you're interacting with their paradigms anyway.
Mhm.
So the feedback that you get isn't always going to serve the purpose that the higher awareness comes from. And that
Absolutely.
awareness is different for everyone. Like I'm not particularly religious in any sense, but I mean my higher intuition, I honestly believe that my board of Aspire is my grandmother and a friend who are very dear friend, Tina, who passed away. And when if I told like the average human in corporate or whatever that, my business is governed by my dead grandmother and my dead friends, they'd probably be like, what are you talking about? Like, but there is something in attuning to something that is unseen
And
when you're
and
something that
and
is unseen.
and I think I know for myself, the gift of that is
Mm.
I never feel alone.
Yes.
And there's so whether that is your grandmother and your friend, whether
Mm.
that is for some people it's a parent that passed away, whether
Mm.
that is God for some, Allah, whoever that is. I think there's something beautiful in not having the pressure of it's all
Mm.
me. And
Yeah.
and and I know in the work I do and in mindset, I teach people that we've got to know when to surrender. Like,
Yeah.
this is mine to handle, and this is the edge of where I know, and I just got to surrender and trust that it's going to come.
Yes, 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 yes. And usually it's at that point of surrender, which is the scariest thing on earth. But usually that's when something in you opens up and allows everything that's been trying to come to
To come.
come.
Right. So
Yeah.
I know for me, I say that in that time, I have met the edge of who I know Suzanne to be. I can't see anything more because I don't know the next thing. I haven't had an experience of it. So I've got to trust that I will expand. And
Mm,
it is something becomes available to me. And I truly believe that all of it is in me, all of it is in you, but it takes this circumstance that's bigger than us to activate, I like to say, the seed in us that's just like, and then suddenly you wake up and you're like, okay, I and you feel expanded,
mm,
right?
yes,
And it's not really anything you did. I think it's that you've got to allow and surrender and wait in that stillness that you were talking about.
yes, yes, yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, this is so good. So, so when I went to Bali for your event, your summit,
Mm,
40 some women.
hmm.
Okay. So what I want to connect to from 15 countries, right? 15,
Yeah,
15,
something like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
15
Mm,
countries. So I flew from Canada 37 hours for everyone listening, 24 hours on a flight. That's enrollment by this woman. So my question is, um, there takes a level of faith and belief to have conversations
Mm.
with people who aren't really sure what you're up to, because that
Mhm.
was me. I was just getting on the phone with this woman,
Mm.
and to enroll them in a possibility across the country.
Mm.
Talk a little bit about how you get to the place where the belief is so unshakable that you have the capacity to invite and enroll and paint a picture for people where they're like, yeah, I'm coming. I'm going to get on a plane for 24 hours.
Yeah. You know, it's funny as you say that because I don't actually know if I had belief. I don't
Okay.
know if I had the level of belief that you would expect. I think I was practicing trying it on.
Oh, I love
And
it.
right? And I all I knew is that there were going to be 50 women in Bali. That's all I knew. And I was like,
Mhm.
I don't know who they are. I don't know where they're coming from. Same as 55. I don't know who they are, who they're coming from, but they will be there. And
So interesting how you said that because I love this because you said, I have a knowing that
mm,
there's going to be 50 people in the room. I don't
mm,
know how.
mm,
And I think what happens is when I get on the phone with you, you translate your knowing. You don't know
mm.
how. You don't even know if I'm the person,
Yeah.
right? But you have a conviction, and this is so important because I think this is, you know, for oftentimes when we talk about people needing to see the how, the pathway in reality, in our human senses, in our, there's a path. I think what you're really talking about in terms of creating something from nothing is holding on to the something, the vision,
Mm,
committed to that vision, and
mm,
saying, I'm going to plant as many seeds, I'm going to talk to as many people, because what I do know is this is going to occur.
yeah. And I think there's an understanding of being okay with things being malleable.
Hmm.
Like if I was fixed on it being a particular way, if I was fixed on crap, I have to find 50 women and blah, 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 like all of that kind of stuff. I know that when I come at anything from that mindset, it doesn't happen.
It
But when I
happens.
come from this kind of, I don't know, this light, playful, almost like this little witchy kind of thing of, oh, wouldn't this be fun if this happened?
Yeah.
And let's just play with ideas. Let's just chat to people and all that kind of stuff. Somehow it comes together, even though it feels like there isn't that certainty,
Yeah.
which means that if you're a part of a team that I'm a part of, you probably think I'm a mad woman because you're like, I can't, like, these mad people in the movies that, like, it's like they're a little bit quirky, don't make sense, but somehow they create these really
Yeah.
amazing animations, but it doesn't make sense in a logical, planned out way. And innovation is not meant to be that. Like we want it to be that because then we can control it and we can structure it and we can plan our time and all that stuff. But it doesn't happen like that. Like I know that Aspire is spirit led. I know that a lot of the time it runs based on my own energy and where I'm at within myself. So if I'm switched off and I'm completely tapped out, it doesn't matter how many conversations I have, the outcome is going to be zero, most likely. At that point, those conversations might circle back around, but at that point, if my energy is tapped out, it's tapped out because at the end of the day, people want you and they want your energy.
Oh,
Yeah,
that is
energy's
so important, and I think this often is such a difficult thing to teach and explain because I know similarly, if
mm,
I'm holding on too tightly,
yes.
if I am bothered by things that aren't really relevant,
Mm,
if I'm attempting to control the outcome, oftentimes nothing happens. And I will say that nothing happens because Suzanne's not having fun.
mm.
And so
Fun is
crucial. And
crucial.
and so one of my things for my business, I say we build and move in fun and play. And I've said that for years. Build and move in fun and play. And trust me, if it's not fun, I'm going home.
Mm,
Because I have learned that unless I keep myself in the energy a fun, passion, purpose, play, excitement, exhilaration, curiosity, everything stops. And I think this is such a great lesson for money and flow of anything. It's like someone goes and turns your tap off and says, you need to adjust, honey.
Yes, yes. I've recently been through that in respect of something that I came out of the summit and was said to me was, to be able to expand your energetic body and your nervous system needs to be able to hold whatever it is that you create. And I actually had a Balinese priestess say that to me years before I even created Aspire when I first landed in Bali. She said, I can see you want to do huge things in the world. What you need to know is that your spirit must always be bigger than what you want to create. And
Mhm.
that makes so much sense because if your spirit is not there, you're literally fueling a machine. It's just another machine. You're not creating change and impact. You're just fueling another corporate machine, essentially. And
Yes.
that's not what we're here to do.
It's interesting because it is saying that we must show up bigger for the
Mm,
thing to happen. And for me, I remind myself that I must be able to hold what I'm asking for.
yes, or
Right.
it will be removed.
It'll either be if I'm not able to hold it, I'll have it for a second. It will be fleeting because I haven't grown, matured, both physically, energetically, mentally, all those things to hold it. And so I remind myself that those stuck points, those challenges, those inconvenience is the work that's expanding me and
Mm,
helping me become the person who can receive and actually hold what I've asked for rather than be crushed by it.
yes,
And we
yes,
and we
yes.
see it, particularly in entertainment. People are chasing and going after and doing all these things, but they actually aren't able to hold what they've asked for, and you watch it crush them until they do the work for expansion.
That is so huge. Yeah, yeah. And it's like, I remember, for example, I remember the first summit. I had the vision for 50 women in the room, even at the first summit. And we ended up having 12 that were there for the whole time. And then we had some people on the islands jump in. I think on the biggest day, we had 40 in the room. Um, but the thing is, I remember in the lead up to that, the wisdom that came to me was you're being given what you can hold.
Yeah.
Don't ask for more than what you can hold. Yeah, it's not fair to ask for more than what you're ready to hold. The next year, I had the 50 in the room for the whole time,
Yeah.
or very close to. Yeah.
And I will say, because I remember us having this conversation, and I remember saying to you, I enjoy watching you because you were ease and grace.
Mm.
And you flowed. So you didn't hold anything too tight. And it was like,
Mm,
we just need to spend a bit more time here in this moment doing this thing. And
yeah.
then we're gonna go adjust. We're just gonna, and I'm infamous for that. So anybody who works with me, they're like, we don't know what she's gonna do. And I,
Yeah.
I kind of have an agenda.
Yeah.
I have an agenda, and my team may have an agenda, but they all know, yeah, okay, well, whatever.
Totally. Totally. You have to be malleable to who is in front of you, to who is in the space. What is it that's not being said that needs to come out at that moment? You can't plan and prepare for that stuff. You cannot. There's only so much that you can plan and prepare for. Um, oh, there was something else I was going to say on that. What was it? Um, don't know. It's gone, but that's okay.
It'll come back. So,
Yeah.
so what keeps you grounded?
Mm,
What keeps you centered? Um, what keeps you focused?
mm,
As while not holding on tightly. Because I think, when I am grounded, I am open. When
yes.
I'm not grounded, I'm holding on for dear life and I'm closed.
Yeah.
So what
Yeah.
keeps you open and in that place where things become available?
Mm. I think we spoke about this at the summit as well. I think at one point we were sitting at a table and you all said, I think somebody said, you must be so happy, like, or excited, like, how you feeling? And I was just like, you know what? It's just
Hmm.
level, you know, because at the end of the day, the shit can be hitting the fan, or things can be going really amazingly, or you can be in some in between space. But you need to feel like you're kind of evened out almost across all of them. I'm a Libran, so like balance is everything and all of that kind of stuff. But I think there's a sweet spot of kind of going, whatever's going on, I'm okay with it, and I'm adaptable and malleable and present to it and available for it. Because there are times where, absolutely everything can be flatlining. And I had a few of those moments, particularly in the second half of last year. I can feel like everything's flatlining. And it's like, crap, everything's flatlining. Do we go and quit? It's like, do we go and sell our stocks because everything's flatlining? No? Like, do we sell everything we own?
Yeah.
Like, it's the same thing. It's like, oh no, this isn't working. It's flatlining. It's like, okay, cool. It's flatlining right now. We know that it's going to shift at some point.
You know,
Um,
yeah.
at other times, everything's flying. It's like, yeah, cool,
Yes.
everything's flying now. We don't go up on that high. We don't go down on that low. We just go, okay, how do we balance ourselves somewhere in between all of this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, as I've gone on my journey, I think it has been the a big lesson in managing my energy,
Mm,
managing my state. And you said it at the beginning that energy is contagious, energy transfers, people feel energy. And so I remind myself that my responsibility is to manage the energy in the room, right?
yes.
And so if I'm high in stress, I am going to, whether I want to or not, right? Even if I'm trying to put on that brave face, it's still gonna,
Mm,
they're gonna feel it on me. And so it is the ability to manage that. So do you have practices that you
mm,
do for yourself that allow or kind of just keep you in that place or help you stay there?
mm. Yes. Yeah, definitely. And on various different levels.
Yes.
And sometimes I do this really well, and other times I'm terrible at it as well. So I want to
Mhm.
preface
Yeah,
that. I think
I,
we
I
all are.
I hear you on that one.
Yeah. Someone said to me recently, you go slowly to go quickly. And I think the thing is that when you're a woman that has a big vision in the world, and you're growing from scratch, like there is so much on your plate at any given time. And I think there's a sweet spot between going, you know what? There's always going to be more than what I can do. So sometimes you've got to go slowly to go quickly. So hold the big vision, know that it's somehow going to come into fruition. There are going to be times where you're energetically open and you have lots of space to give to something. And you're like, I'm just going to deep dive on everything and
Yeah.
just go for it. And there are other times where you're like, I have very little to give. So what can you do? How can you navigate that space and do the tasks or the whatever it is that's required of you in a way that manage that works with that level of energy as well. So I really try to work with my energy. So it means that sometimes things move super quickly and sometimes they move super slowly. And I am most of the time just not apologetic about that. I'm like, you know what, at the end of the day, I'm holding a vision that is huge. And if it means you have to wait for something or whatever it is, then that is what it is. If I can't respond to you straight away, it is what it is. Like I can't be all things to all people all of the time. Sometimes I'll be all on it, and other times it's like, we have to wait for this. So that's one side of it, and really buffering that and giving yourself permission to be that.
Hmm.
Yeah. I think that's really, really brave because it can be very easy to start apologizing for that. I think there's something really in that, knowing that's probably a whole other topic, like knowing when to apologize and when not to.
Yeah.
There's that side of it. Um, I've been doing a lot of work at the moment, back in my dropping into my human self,
Uh,
around my energetic system and rebalancing my energetic system. So I've built a tiny, it's kind of happened really organically in the last few weeks. I built this tribe of support people around like, chiropractic and
yeah.
acupuncture and that kind of stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh, how did I not know how much it can change everything in literally a couple of weeks when you've got the right support group helping you manage your energetic body? Like
Now,
literally a
let's
couple of weeks,
pause
it's
here for a moment because I think this is so important because likewise, I have my massage therapist, my chiro, my nutrition person. Like I've walked with a tribe for many, many years. That's probably because
everything.
I have a number of years on you, but but for many years. And I think I came to that aha probably around the same age as, around that time in my life. And I think we underestimate the level of care the body requires to
Yes.
recover. So, when we look at yeah, when we look at professional athletes, they got all these people taking care of us. And because we are not possibly physical
Mm,
we think that it doesn't require the same thing. But I
mm.
will tell you, creation, mental energy, possibility takes a lot out of you.
It runs through your body. It
Yeah.
runs through your body. And that's what it means to be embodied. It means that everything that you do goes through your body. So it takes a huge toll on your body. And um, it's an investment in your business. Just like anything else, taking care of your body is an investment in your business.
Big time.
So yeah, yes. So for me, I'm a dancer and I'm a yogini as well. So those two things are really big. I mean, I'm not usually a big shopper. I'm not a big spa person, any of those things. But if there's something I'm going to invest in, it's those two things.
Mhm.
And in business startup mode, particularly the dance, that's something that got stripped away in many senses because I was on a forum not long ago and they were like, oh, you can live the life and do the thing and have the business and not sacrifice anything. And I was like, hold up there. Hold
Twofold.
up there. I've sacrificed a lot on this journey, a lot. And I'm pretty sure that like you have choices, right?
Yeah.
Do I go out on Friday night and have drinks and know that I'll be probably wrecked for the rest of the weekend and maybe even on Monday morning and not be able to show up for the thing? Or how do I navigate that? Or how do I do that less often? Like there are always choices that we're making, right? So, I mean, whether you call it sacrifice or not, it's there. So I think there's that space of it as well. But dance and yoga are two really, really big things. And then, as I said, I'm really starting to create the space to prioritize the energetic body first and foremost. And what else do I do? Sleep. I'm a big afternoon sleep person when I can take the chance to.
Okay.
Um, And I think having the right support people in place, which sometimes is easy and sometimes isn't so easy. Like I find when we're in transition into another space, sometimes they're not there
Mhm.
um, because there are gaps at times. So how do we then identify who those new people are and step into those new spaces where those people are as well?
I
Yeah.
I think that is such a key thing because I also know that when I stepped out
Mm,
on faith and I was growing in many ways I outgrew my support
yeah.
group. And
Yeah.
I tell people that it is a lonely and vulnerable time because it's tempting to go back.
Mm,
Right? But you can't. Your hero's journey, right? So you're moving forward, and I think it is. I know for myself, and I so experienced this that during COVID, it's that time where I truly believe we get put in isolation.
mm,
Creation, right? I'm creating something new. I've been removed from the environment I have been in. I'm put here, it feels like I'm in the desert by myself.
hmm.
And I'm here alone for the purity of creation without input. So I can own. look, explore, and then it's almost like when I'm just kind of like, okay, I get it, people start popping up. And it's almost like I have to expand so the other people, the new people that are there to help me can see and connect with me.
So accurate, so accurate. The thing is, it's such a fundamental part of the rites of passage. The rites of passage only become successful because a new tribe of people arrive to envelope us in some
Yeah.
sense, but they can't envelope us unless we continue walking. It's like
It's almost
there's
like
this
they
sense
can't
that
see us until we start showing up
totally.
in a way that they recognize.
Yes, yes. And there's a sense of like our creation can only exist so far inside ourselves. Like at some point it must meet the world and have feedback from the world to then continue to grow and flourish. So
Yeah.
if we and often like there is that internal chapter which is essential, absolutely essential. It's like that, what's in the little cocoon thing.
Yeah.
It's like it, right? But there must be a point where we break out of that and go, okay, world, meet me as this newest edition of me, so that it can then respond and you can receive and it can embrace you.
Ah, so well said. This is such a good current conversation. I could talk for you with you. We could just go. Um, what has been, as we wrap, I have two things I want you to leave the audience with. As a leader, um, who's really stepped into this visionary space, what has been one of your biggest lessons?
Mm. I'm going to talk about one that I have navigated over the last 6 months, and I feel like I'm just coming out of it as well. After the summit, like many of us, I went into a cocoon,
Hmm.
and now I'm shifting out of that space. But being in that cocoon, I felt a really strong sense of being misunderstood. And it was aligned with me coming back to Australia, aligned with coming back out of the fantasy island world of Bali and into the Western world where people have very different mindsets. And Melbourne is at the bottom of the planet for anyone who doesn't know. So it's a beautiful place. It's creative. It's amazing in many senses, but it's also at the bottom of the planet. Um, and finding my way back into the old world
Hmm.
as a very different person, I really struggled feeling misunderstood in this new reality. And I think I had a realization one day where I must have read something on Instagram or whatever about like the one percenters. And I'm like, I'm so far away from being a one percenter or something. Maybe I'm like a 62 percenter or something. But we're on the way up. We're on the way
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
But like I was like, Farah, if you're a one percenter, of course you're going to be misunderstood by 99% of the population. That is the only way that you become a one percenter. Like
Hmm.
your everything that you are becomes so finessed
Hmm.
that there is this particular way of existing. And I was like, that's okay. Like that's okay to be in that space and to be navigating this world where you are like, where I went through this whole phase of being like, where do I fit in? And it
Yeah.
was actually Michelle C, one of our mutual people we met at the summit, who said to me right before I left Melbourne to go to the UK, she said, Michelle, you need to stop trying to fit back in because I was in this space of trying to fit back in to the old reality.
Yeah.
And I realized it's like that there is no fitting back in. There is no back.
Yeah.
There's no
And if
fitting.
you're on that journey, you can't go backwards.
Once you're on this path and you have a vision that no one else sees, and you're just walking and stepping, there is no fitting and there is no back. Your path is to just keep walking and then to trust that the right people are going to come towards and they're going to understand and they're going to resonate. Often they will come with their own fears, their own limitations, their own blockages, their own like, I love what you're doing, I love what you're creating, but oh my God, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, I
Yes.
can't. Which
Yes.
was why I began the summit with that sense of if you can back one other woman's dream, there is no reason on earth why you can't back your own. And
Uh,
often people will love the idea of what someone else is creating until it comes to that point of buying in, and then they go, oh crap, this is actually really scary and it might not even be real or true. In which case, that's really about their own trust and faith and belief in themselves and their own capacity to fulfill a vision. Does that
you
make sense?
Oh, it makes perfect sense. I remember having dinner with a mentor of mine, and we were just having a conversation. Older man, wisdom beyond, one of the probably one of the one percenters. And,
Mm,
and I remember him looking at me, and he said, you're gonna have a lonely path for a moment in
mm.
time.
Oh my
I was
gosh.
like, I was like thinking like, why would you tell me that? And he says, it'll be a season, and then things will shift. But he says, prepare for it, because you'll go through a period where people won't relate to you. They'll be like, what is up with her? And so I was informed, not necessarily prepared. I understand the difference. So when I was going through that piece, it was like, okay, this is what he's talking about. But this certainly isn't fun.
It's so not fun. And that happens over and over and over again. It's almost like getting a finer tooth comb. Like, you know how there's
Yeah.
like a fine tooth comb, then there's another one, and there's
Yeah.
another one? It's like that.
Yeah. And as I teach mindset, I tell people it's a practice. It's
Mm,
not a thing you arrive at. Because just when you get to this place in leadership and in your mindset where you think, "Ooh, I got this," your vision's going to expand, and then you'll be like, "I thought I had it." And well, you had it at that level, but where you're going, you don't have it. And that's the journey. And that's why the journey is so exciting and so scary. And you've got vision and fear as the same, two sides of the same coin. But I think once you go, okay, that's just the journey. That's just
mm,
the season I'm in.
yes,
Uh,
yes. And the word that comes to me is grace. Having
yeah.
grace for ourselves, having grace for our vision, having grace for the process,
Yes.
and knowing that there are so many times where absolutely none of it is going to make sense. You won't even make sense to yourself because you've outgrown one version and a new
And
one hasn't arrived yet.
absolutely. And I think I have learned to give others grace in their not understanding me, in their not seeing what I see. And I say I literally say to myself, Suzanne, this gift was not for them. They don't have to,
Mm.
it's yours. And so you're the only one who has to see it. And along the path, I'll find people who are like, I see you. And I see what you're doing, and you're like, oh my gosh. And I think if you keep holding on to the people who don't see it, you'll miss the people who will be like,
Yeah.
girl, I see you. I got you. What do you need?
Yes. And often it's not the people that you expect who become your greatest supporters. It's
And it's
sometimes it's people who don't even know you, who have never met you, and they will
usually,
back like there's no tomorrow.
yes,
It's crazy. Yeah. And having grace for other leaders as well. That is huge because if you're in it, you know what it takes. If you're not in it, it's very easy to slot into judgment, fear, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. But if you're in it, you get it.
absolutely. So, closing words for a
Mhm.
leader who
Mhm.
has a vision worthy of their life.
Mhm.
And they're about to step out, and they're just like, Michelle, I don't see anything in front of me, but I'm pulled. I'm pulled. What would be your words of wisdom?
Mm. I feel like I only want it to be like two words. I want it to be something super simple. I'll share one thing before and then I'll wrap it up into two words.
Okay.
So sometimes I think that there are these Charlie's Angels moments. You know when like the bunch of them, the three of them are like running. There's the flames up behind them and the building's about to explode and all the things.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my gosh, they're all gonna die.
Uh-huh.
But somehow, and you think that you've lost them because the flames kind of overtake them. And then at some point, like the flames kind of separate and then they just like stick out in their black leather.
Uh-huh.
Like they're just like, we got this. We got this. Think of your journey like that because it's probably going to be a lot like that in
I love
many
it.
in
I love it.
moments.
I love the visual. I love the visual.
Yeah, yeah. And I think the joy of that is to where you can and however you can. I think remember the grace and the lightness.
Grace and light.
Remember lightness wherever you can. Yeah, I think sometimes it can be the toughest thing ever. Um, but that's where the magic lies. Yeah. Yeah.
Grace and lightness. Thank you
Yeah.
so very much. Well, everyone, we have been sitting down. I've been sitting down with Michelle Gardner, and she's the founder of the Aspire series and this beautiful women's summit where women come from all over the world. I think
Mhm.
we'll be meeting in Bali again this year. Michelle, thank you so much for giving up your time. I know we have another topic in our pocket, so I'm excited to sit down with you again. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for supporting the show. Remember to subscribe, follow, like, and until we meet again, please know you are brilliant. Know you are oh so very special. And we do this work because we know the world is waiting. Blessings, and I will talk to you soon. Take care.
Bye.